would have thought that a secondary title that's not called the World Championship could be so damn fun to watch being defended? It's almost like if you treat those things as if they are important, me as a fan will go, ha ha ha, now I think it's important. But we will talk about it. We will get there. As for now, my name is Simon Miller. You know the deal. You are watching AEW Dynamite Ups and Downs. And what is AEW Dynamite Ups and Downs? I hear you say, it's the show where we give the good bits an up, that means good, and we give the bad bits a down, that means bad. Clearly, obviously, let's up those downs. AEW this week started with a video reminding us that Black Lives Matter, and you are damn right they do. I mean, we are living in crazy times right now, but if we can use these tragedies that we've recently witnessed and actually make the idea of equality a real thing as opposed to an idea, then hopefully we can move forward as one. You never judge anybody based on the color of their skin. There ain't no arguing, and there ain't no two ways about it. Dynamite then got going in the wrestling sense, and it was Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian coming together as a tag team to challenge Adam Page and Kenny Omega for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. When I saw the Cowboy and Kenny Omega, I was like, oh yeah, we haven't seen these two have a match in ages. It made me think maybe we're slowly creeping back to normality. Kinda, not really, but up. In the early going, it was all about Penelope Ford, and I think we learned here that Jim Ross is quite smitten with the lady, because not only was he very happy that she was at ringside, but when eventually the referee went, look, you've got to get out of here because you keep getting involved, good old JR was crushed. So I don't know whether that's going to turn into a storyline, but it's something I damn well noticed. And you've got to love Havoc too, because in all this fracas, when, like I said, Penelope Ford was being thrown out of there, do you know what he did? He went and got a wrench, and he hit Hangman Page, and he hit Kenny Omega. I mean, whose brain doesn't think like that? Oh, I've seen an opening, where's my tool? What I really liked about this was that for most of this, the bad guys were in control, which meant when the good guys finally started to fight back and they got momentum, well, I started to get into it. I felt my bum flexing, which is my bum's way of telling me, Simon, jump up and get excited. So I did. At like 5:30 a.m, my neighbours hate me. The AEW tag team buzzer then hit, which signals to all the wrestlers to get in the ring and start running wild, but that's kind of why this worked. The pace just increased to ludicrous levels, especially Kenny Omega. He is so quick. If you told me he was some kind of superhero, I would go, yeah, his power's running. It also opened the door for our champs to hit the last call, which is what they're now calling their finishing maneuver on Jimmy Havoc. Adam Page pinned him. 1, 2, 3, they are still your tag team champions. And where, oh where, do the Brits go now? Don't have to worry about it. This was good. What was next was a little bit weird though, wasn't it? We saw a snippet of the promo that Tully Blanchard gave to Shawn Spears, and if you haven't seen that, you should absolutely go and check it out. We only saw about 30 seconds here, but it debuted on social media, and it is absolutely faboo. Faboo! Here though, it was the Four Horsemen and Shawn Spears in a limo, and Tully was all like, look, I figured it out, don't worry about it, I've got this thing in this box for you, take a look at it, it will solve all your problems. And Shawn Spears opened it up, and it was one glove. So I thought to myself, okay, either Tully Blanchard wants Shawn Spears to go and challenge somebody to a duel at high noon, or he wants him to become Michael Jackson. The commentary team told us that this was to signify that Shawn was about to get a new identity. And I was like, does it mean that? Because if somebody bought me the present of one glove, I'd be like, well, where's the other glove? If I just wear one glove in public, people are going to think I'm weird. Obviously, this does tie into stories in the past. It's very, very old school where the one glove signified something. I'm intrigued. I want to see where it's going to go. And really, these two are great together. Some people were confused when they first teamed up. I love them. On a side note, they also made it clear that the search for Spears, the search for his tag team partner, is over and it's done. I didn't even get a phone call, Shawn. I was waiting for a long time. I thought I'd made my feelings known, but it's fine. I forgive you. Just give me a second. Give me a second. I'll be all right. Brian Cage then squashed Shawn Dean and he used a buckle bomb. Of course he used a buckle bomb. WWE came out this week going, oh, we're not doing buckle bombs anymore. So AEW, like little kids running around at night hiding from their parents going, tee, went and used a buckle bomb. But still, Brian Cage is great, and he mullered this guy. It was kind of what happened afterward that rocked the most though, because Taz got on the microphone and reminded you in around about 2 minutes, oh yeah, Taz can cut a promo when he's super pissed off, and he was pissed off because he didn't appreciate Jon Moxley's actions last week. He's like, John, you're all smiling and laughing. You think it's a game? You think it's a joke? Brian Cage, he will rip your head off and throw it into the crowd. up. Jon then arrived to put everything straight and he's like, look, I'm not laughing at Brian. The smile on my face was happiness because I like fighting, I like violence, and I already know that me and him are gonna have some of that. And he was like, I'm not like immortal dude. You can beat me, Brian Cage, but if you want to do that, you're gonna have to fight me all night. So I guess that's what's gonna happen. At the event where they fight, they're just gonna brawl into the evening and we'll get to the 10-hour mark and they'll be like, I think I've got things to do. So this was really all just one big threat towards Brian, but I tell you, it worked. It's nice and simple. You have justification because Brian Cage did win the Magic Casino chip that gives him a title shot. That's all the justification you need. There's the thumbs. Taz also said that Moxley doesn't know S-H-I-T here, but he said the word. Keep it in mind, I'm gonna talk about it later. Lance Archer was then beating up a masked dude in a junkyard. I will say this was absolutely badass. But what was really dumb is that Alex Mares turned up and I was like, Alex Mares, what are you doing? I mean, how did that phone call dude? Oh man, there's a crazy dude in like a rubbish tip and he's like beating a man half to death. And Alex Mares was like, oh, I've got a great idea. I'll go find him and do an interview. That's a terrible plan. Anyway, Archer is still intent on murdering half the roster, even though he's already murdered half the roster. He said that. He was like, everybody dies. And his intensity here was absolutely badass. And he even freaked out Jake Roberts, who turned to Alex Mares after and said, look, I am so sorry. The guy's lost his mind. Lance Archer is brilliant. AEW then warmed my heart a little bit, which actually sounds terrible in practice, but it's true. It made me feel all warm and fuzzy because you just never know what direction they're going to go in, and they always take things from the previous week and sprinkle it in a new episode, because here Private Party were partying down in a bar, as you'd imagine, before Matt Hardy arrived and said, look, you guys last week, you were great. You remind me of a young Hardy Boys, and what a compliment that is. As such, if they ever do need help, he would be honoured. Before Private Party, we're like, oh yeah, that sounds great, and we can be the Hardy Party. Now, not only is it the worst name ever, that it slowly becomes the best name ever, but I'd love to see that. I think that's an interesting connection. And when Matt Hardy did walk off, he also bumped into Sammy Guevara and said, don't worry, Sammy, we're cool. And Sammy looked at him like he just annihilated his whole family, which I'm not surprised, because Sammy Guevara probably thought he's just gonna run me over in a golf cart as soon as I turn my back to him. Probably an elephant this time, because it just keeps escalating. A cool announcement next, and that's that Fyter Fest is gonna be free on TNT, and you're gonna get 2 shows out of it. One is gonna be on July the 1st, the next one is gonna be on July the 8th, and right now I think we could all have a bit of that. The only thing that does suck is that Fyter Fest this year was meant to be in the UK, and now it's not coming here because of the global pandemic. Damn you, world. It was then Colt Cabana versus Chris Jericho, and as it started, my brain went, oh, I'm really excited about this, because I've been watching these two dudes wrestle for like, what, 2 decades or something crazy, and I don't think I've ever seen them compete against each other. It is getting it up. Now, we did cut to the Bunny and QT Marshall in the crowd, who were just canoodling away. And I cannot get over this transformation of the Bunny with no explanation. And yes, I'm going to talk about that later as well. But all of it didn't even matter, because as Chris Jericho was making his entrance, Sammy Guevara did the worst rendition of Judas I've ever heard in my life. But this was intentional, and we should probably just get a medal and put it around Sammy's neck, and then put him on a throne and say, you are our new king, we'll follow you wherever you go. The match in the ring was really good too. There was this awesome spot where Colt Cabana went for his Superman pin, and Jericho reversed that into the walls of Jericho, and he was so mad that Colt got to the ropes, he even went to the referee, Audrey Edwards, and he was like, I'm sorry, he tapped out, and she was like, he definitely didn't, you buffoon. Cabana then tried to roll up Chris Jericho, but he was able to kick out, and then he thought he'd go for a springboard, and that was a really bad idea, because he got whacked by the Judas effect, he was knocked out, 1, 2, 3, Le Champion wins, and his weird neck scarf thing never came off. And then it all went absolutely crazy, because Jericho went and got a microphone, and not only did he say he wanted to taste Mike Tyson's blood, but he also wanted to take Mike Tyson's head and shove it up his own ass. Now, I have no idea how Chris Jericho plans to do that, and imagine that becomes like the tagline for the event whenever those two fight.
This week, Saturday, on pay-per-view, will Mike Tyson's head be shoved up his own ass? Find out 8 p.m. Eastern, only on AEW.
Oddly though, he did not get Iron Mike, even though he was desperate for him. He instead got Orange Cassidy, who came out, took Jericho's hands, and like stuck it in Jericho's belt so it looked like he was doing the Orange Cassidy pocket dance, happy times, let's all go have fun. And then Jake Hagar tried to attack him, he got out of the way. And then Chris Jericho tried to attack him, he got out of the way. He then rolled out the ring, the best friend saved him, and I actually think we are going to do some kind of program between Le Champion and the Fruit. And I tell you this, I can't flipping wait. Also, Jericho said that Tyson was a piece of shib here, so that is the second time it was said on the show, and I thought there was a rule that they can only do 1 per show. So I've been thinking about it, and they do like to say that word a lot. Also, when Jericho said ass, that got bleeped, but SHIT was not bleeped, so bring it down. That's right, it's the AEW SHIB counter, you know what I'm referring to. Put 2 on the board, and look, I'm only starting this on June. If I started in January, you'd have hundreds of marks. That's it, it's a thing, we're up to 2. Britt Baker was next, up. That's the tweet. Not a tweet. AEW has just capitalized on this injury perfectly though, because we had some kind of montage here with her trying to train in her wheelchair, even though she couldn't give 2 hoots. So there was one bit where she was sat down and she was doing the weakest battle ropes ever. I'm a goof. I laughed my ass off. For some reason, Tony Schiavone was cheering her on, and surely you think those two would hate each other. It was so good, it was so dumb, and I think we should give Britt Baker like a group called the Dentist Dozen or the Dentist Dudes or something like that, and she should just administer them every single week. Britt Baker, best character 2020. I need it. This tied into everything that was next too, because we were getting Nyla Rose versus Big Swole, and there was some aftermath that you need to talk about. And as for the match itself, well, let me tell you this. When Nyla Rose went for the Beast Bomb, Big Swole managed to reverse it into the most devastating move of sports entertainment, but the former AEW Women's Champion was having none of that, and she kicked out, which must mean she watches ups and downs, and she's learned, and when she's doing her training, she's like, I don't want to do slams, I don't want to do punches, I don't want to do anything, I just want to kick out of surprise roll-ups, because I know they coming. Also, Nyla Rose took this crazy bump when she ran at Big Swole, and Big Swole ducked and pulled the top rope down. She hit the apron so hard, I think I broke my own tailbone. It is getting it up. Rose did win after this spine buster slam type thing, and that does make sense, because now she's back on track after she lost her title. But afterwards, we teased a little thing between Britt Baker and Big Swole, and I am here for this. Because Britt was just yelling at Swole at ringside, and is also now in her Rolls Royce, which is a vehicle, with her wheelchair, and she actually just accelerated and pretty much tried to run over Swole. Understandably, Swole was a little bit pissed off by that, so she got a wheelchair, and she was going to hit Britt Baker until Rebel, you know, Britt Baker's friend, drove away, saving the dentist. I like all of this, and if this is the direction we go in, you can count me in. Also, it's just so simple, because Big Swole is really easy to like, and Britt Baker is really easy to hate. That's me ticking boxes. Tony was back talking to Darby Allin after this and asking, look, are you a bit mad at Taz? Because he was kind of responsible for your downfall, because ever since Brian Cage threw you out of the ring at Double or Nothing, you haven't been cleared to wrestle. And Darby went, well look, life's just one big joke, but I'll have the last laugh. I think AEW may be turning him into the Joker. We will see. Schiavone was on double duty here as well, because he was doing a sit-down interview with FTR, and that's exactly what we needed at this given time. Because if you know who they are, you want to see what kind of characters they are going to be in All Elite Wrestling, and if you don't, well, here's your introduction. Because they have come here to wrestle the best tag teams in the world. They mentioned the Proud and Powerful, they mentioned the Jurassic Express, they mentioned obviously Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, even though they said they're not a real tag team, but whatever. And they mentioned Private Party, but they never talked about the Young Bucks. And when they were asked about that, it's because FTR couldn't give 2 hoots about Matt and Nick Jackson. They're not interested in this dream match, and in fact, if they do meet in the ring, they just want to pile them into dust and throw them into the trash. They even said they especially want to do this because Dave Meltzer keeps going on about them, and oh my gosh, I can already see the internet melting down. Now, all of this was really solid, and I do feel like we've established them as a team, but I was so distracted by what happened next, because the Butcher and the Blade barged in, and they interrupted the interview, but they're still in their white gear, and they're still doing their Miami Vice thing. And maybe I'm overthinking this, but why is nobody explaining to me what has happened and why it's happened? A few months ago, they were doing dark skits in like a butcher's shop where I saw them chopping up animals and being like, we're all kind of crazy. And now they're trying to solve America's drug problem. I desperately need somebody to explain this to me. I mean it, and that's why I get it down. They are going to have a match next week, and that's a great playoff of everything that's happened over the last couple of weeks. And I also think FTR and the Butcher and the Blade will smash that. Somebody please get in my brain and give me the information I seek. And I'm genuinely pumped for all this Colt Cabana stuff too. He was doing an interview here saying, look, although I lost, I think I've proven that I belong here in AEW with my performances. When Brody Lee arrived, he's like, look pal, look dude, it's not about losing, it's about how you bounce back through that loss, and I can help you, and so can the Dark Order. And Colt didn't turn this down. He scratched his head thinking, do I want to do this? I love this narrative, and I don't know why. I genuinely can't wait to see what he's gonna do. There's also some confusion here about who actually is going to be in the TNT Championship match next week, because not only were we told it was going to be Mark Quinn from Private Party, but we were also told it was going to be Phoenix. I think Tony Khan went on social media afterwards and said, look, we made a mistake. It is going to be Phoenix, and I'm only saying this because I know people in the comments will mention it otherwise. But here's my stance: when mistakes happen, I don't care. It was then our main event and the first defense for that championship, and Cody and Jungle Boy tore the flipping house down. What's that finger of power? That's right, it's getting it up. Who regrets talking to the hand? Me. Cody started by focusing on Jungle Boy's leg, but the kid from the woods was too quick for him and he kept getting little shots in. That kind of just annoyed Cody, so he grabbed him and he chucked him over the barricade into the audience. Daddy's home, son. You could say the champ was a little bit too over-aggressive here because he went to headbutt Jungle Boy, missed, and crashed into a wall. And when he emerged from this, he had blood everywhere, and that still surprises me on TV. I'm so used to not seeing it on normal television shows that I get kind of excited. And Jungle Boy, he didn't care about this. He saw blood, and he was like a lion. He was attacking that cut like a mother. I swear we're teasing some kind of turn at some point for Cody too, because he thought about using his weight belt here, but he thought better of it. And then both of these dudes are on the top rope, and they both fell off through an announce table. There's no way that didn't hurt. It all finished with Jungle Boy trying to hit a swinging DDT on Cody, but he reversed it into the crossroads. That looked really good. And he got the 1, 2, 3, and that pleased me because not only was the match badass, but finally that finisher is killing people after one. You know I'm a wrestling nerd, and this satisfied my madness. It also made the belt feel like a big deal, and we've done a great job of that ever since Cody became the champion and before with the whole tournament. And afterwards, Dustin and Brandy were out there making sure Cody was okay, and Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt were doing the same for Jungle Boy, and then Jungle Boy and Cody hugged, and I cried. I'm not ashamed to admit it, I cried. This was beautiful. So it was just good old-fashioned wrestling. I really do think Cody delivers every time he goes out there to deliver, although don't rest on your laurels, because some bald asshole remembers it's an open challenge, and you may be seeing me soon. That was the end of another Dynamite, and I tell you, they're just on a roll right now. They're putting out good show after good show. It's kind of hard to find things I don't like. And now you go, oh, Simon, you're so biased towards AEW. I'm biased towards wrestling. I think Raw's doing a great job too. I can't wait for SmackDown. It's AJ Styles versus flipping Daniel Bryan. Apparently that's so good. People's brains creaked out of their ears and walked home. The show is getting an up. I love wrestling. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling. Then you head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles. Then you go over here and what do? You go to Twitter at WhatCulture WWE, and that's how you keep up to date with news and you watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Thank you as always for joining me. And if you are just an ups and downs watcher, I'll see you Saturday around about 2 p.m. BST. It's time for SmackDown. Adios.